I'm with Maria Guerra and Charlie Parker, as always, and we'll go around the room, and I think I'm going to go first this time. So let's begin. We start back in January, on January 16th, when we posted a story that announced how Canada has finalized a pact with China, cutting EV tariffs to 6.1% and allowing the sale of 49,000 vehicles from China to be sold there every year, excuse me. That's still plenty. This is after the Trump tariff business that kind of annoyed a lot of people, but certainly Canada. So Canada reached out to China and they came to this agreement. So that was in January. Well, it was about April 8th that we learned from Bloomberg News, I believe it was, and this story is in our current headlines feature, that BYD, the world's largest EV maker, which has been kept out of the North American market, is now going to open 20 sales locations across Canada. So what does this mean? Well, one of the reasons that EVs haven't sold well in the US, or at least not at the pace that people hoped, was they weren't very good for the price. We don't have the infrastructure yet for charging. They take a long time to charge, and they cost a lot. But in China, they're already making EVs that sell for like the equivalent of about 20,000, and they charge fast. They have a long range, and the only problem for U.S. Drivers is that they don't have access to them, right? Well, over in Canada, they're going to have access to them. And guess what? I live pretty close to the Ambassador Bridge, where people drive back and forth from Canada pretty easily. And it won't be hard for these cars to be road legal. So that's one story. Then this past week, another development happened at the other end of the country in Mexico. The Wall Street Journal runs a story titled, "The U.S. Wants to Ban China's High-Tech Cars, but They're Already Here in El Paso. Mexican dealers are selling cutting-edge Chinese cars that the U.S. consumers can't buy, and Americans are warming to the idea of them." So this is a couple of stories that deserve a feature that we haven't written yet, but the possibility that Americans, North Americans, and people in the U.S. in particular are going to see what can be done on price, on range, and on cool modern finishes and dashboards and so on by these Chinese EV makers, and they're going to say, "Where's mine? Where's mine?" You know. So that's good news for U.S. car makers, but bad news for them because they now have a lot of things in their way from catching up, and that's worth another conversation. So, but I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention that once they see what can be done now, it's going to be much harder to say that, well, there's no reason for us to have EVs. Everybody wants ICE cars. That's gonna be threatened. All right, I've talked enough. Very good. We turn it over to Maria Guerra, the Neil Award-winning 2025 Neil Award-winning writer for her work on explaining technology. We're very, very proud. And all right, take it away.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to share this news that I posted last month about Rivian repurposing EV batteries for scalable energy storage. They announced, along with the Redwood Materials, that they were going to deploy 100 second life Rivian battery packs to create a 10 megawatt per hour energy storage solution for Rivian's normal plant. And I just wanted to point out that this is due to rising electricity demand that is pressuring the grid infrastructure, and this is a BESS solution that can help support the grid stability and the energy secure the energy. No, in terms of environment benefits, I see the repurposing the EV batteries for BESS reduces waste and delays the need for recycling, and also it's cost effective, very cost effective, since they already have the batteries. They're just they're just using their own batteries for a second purpose. In terms of the evolution of EV manufacturers, I see how we already see companies like Tesla already in the best market for a long time. And since EV manufacturers have the expertise and the knowledge of battery technology, there is also, the opportunity for EV manufacturers to migrate to the best market. Tesla has been a pioneer in this space for a long time with their Powerwall and Megapack systems. And EV manufacturer companies have this unique position to lead the best market. The transition to the BES allows them to maximize the value of their investment in battery development. And I think it's a great way for EV manufacturers to diversify their revenue and also find a contribution, a sustainable energy ecosystem. That's it for me.
That's right. That's right. Where is the Rivian facility that they're doing this?
It's in the, oh boy. They have only one plant, but it's in Normal, Illinois. In Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. All right. So it's in the U.S. Okay. Yeah, I remember
yes.
we covered VW doing a similar thing of using recycled EV batteries in a factory in, I assume it was Germany. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
yeah, but Ford is also announcing a new business in that side on the best market as well. It's part of the electric new business of them.
Yeah. Well, as the EVs slow down, then the BESS looks better and better for these guys. So that's great. Excellent. All right, Charlie, we turn it over to you to bring us home.
Okay, gloom and doom, death of a unicorn. It is from a March 12th article in the MIT Technology Review. It is regarding 24M. 24M was not a fringe science project. It was one of the better-known U.S. battery manufacturing platform companies, spun out of MIT and based in Cambridge, about a mile in that direction, and built around semi-solid or clay-like lithium ion production process intended to reduce manufacturing costs, improve energy density, and simplify cell production. As recently as 2024, the company raised $87 million in a Series H round that brought funding to over $500 million and a reported valuation of roughly $1.3 billion. That is what makes the reported shutdown so important. According to the MIT Technology Review and follow-on reporting, 24M has reportedly closed and is auctioning assets despite being backed by major strategic investors and despite targeting an improvement to lithium-ion manufacturing rather than betting entirely on an exotic new chemistry. The key takeaway is that the market is no longer rewarding promising battery technology by itself. It is rewarding scale, bankability, cost position, customer pull, and the ability to survive a brutally competitive China-led cost curve. 24M's model depended heavily on licensing and partner-led commercialization. In theory, that was capital light. In practice, it was creating a scaling gap. The technology needed manufacturing partners to move forward from validation to volume production, but the broader market shifted before that fully took hold. EV demand in the U.S. cooled, automakers delayed or canceled programs, IRA-related incentives and financing support became less certain, and investors pulled back from long-duration climate hardware bets. So This is not just a 24M story. It fits a broader pattern across the US and the Western battery ecosystem. Well-funded companies with real technology are struggling when they hit the valley between pilot success and industrial scale. CSIS recently framed the US battery sector as being at an inflection point. Demand is still strategically important, but build out is uneven. The supply chain remains import dependent, and China retains the dominant scale advantages across much of the value chain. For the industry, the implications clear. Battery innovation is not dead, but the bar moved higher. The winners will need either a very clear pull from high value application like defense, drones, aerospace, grid storage, AI infrastructure, or credible route to manufacturing scale with customers already committed. For policymakers, 24M's closure is yet another warning that invention and industrialization are not the same thing. The US can generate excellent battery IP, but without stable demand signals, patient capital, cost competitive manufacturing, and strong downstream customers, that IP will not become domestic production. So the story of 24M is not simply that one startup failed. It is that the battery market is entering a scarcity phase. Fewer narratives, fewer science projects, fewer right to win opportunities. This creates a clear mandate to prove that technology can scale into real factories, real customers, and real margins. This is personal to me because I know quite a few folks who work there. I had a chance to meet with the CTO of Freer Battery at the time, who was they were a major technology partner. It's disheartening, but at the same time, it's that the IP still may find a home at some point. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, and hopefully it'll see a broader market at some point.
It was a good idea. I mean, it was a good product, right? And people believed in it, and still this can happen. Yeah, that's quite disheartening.
You start off with one thing. You start off as a manufacturing platform, but then you realize that our tool set of materials doesn't necessarily work with this platform. So now we got to be a materials company, and you saw how they kind of did that. I believe that they had to create their own electrolyte to support the platform. So yeah, none of it's easy, and especially where you're a scrappy startup, not a large company with a massive balance sheet to soak everything up. So,
two questions. One is we all saw the MIT article. I think you shared it with us first. I haven't seen anything else about this closure. It's very strange that that. I was wondering if you had more like local reporting or something talking about it, or
I mean, I could go knock on their door and see if they answer.
No. Right.
No, and I think this was validated. I think there's some blogs out there that keep a close eye on this, that are credible. And also I've heard from colleagues. I think a lot of the time these wind downs in certain cases do need to be quiet, and they're doing just that. So it's either something sensitive with an asset sale, or there's any number of reasons why 24M hasn't made a press release stating the current condition of their operations. So
right.
But yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I just finished posting my second part of an interview with John Warner of American Battery Solutions, and he made the same point that you are. This story is Exhibit A for what he says, which is battery innovation now has to go beyond chemistry to supply chains and capital discipline. So he says pretty much. He describes a future, the next 3 years, of being much more like that, consolidation, and a good idea that works small scale isn't necessarily going to get you there. So that's interesting times. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess that wraps us up. I'm gonna call it a day for this, and I'm gonna stop recording. So hold on, folks.